Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's episode of The Fishing Teacher, and really appreciate you guys checking the video out today. Always grateful for that. And guys, by a popular request, I've had a lot of people asking about some night fishing tips. So we're going to talk about nighttime fishing for bass in today's video. Summertime of the year, really from late spring into summertime into early fall is a really good time. And I've got quite a bit of experience night fishing, so I'm going to share you guys some tips and advice on that in today's video. Also, guys, just a quick reminder about the Father's Day sale on my RB2 and RB3 series solar bat sunglasses right now. You can get them at 25% off before Father's Day if you guys are interested. I'll put the link in the description of this video to solar bat if you guys would like to get a pair, and really appreciate you guys supporting the channel by using all those links in the description. Definitely grateful for that. Okay, guys, I'll tell you a little bit about my background in fishing at night. Back in the late 70s when I was in high school, and just when I got out of high school, I was in a bass club called the Big Mo Bass Club in Joplin, Missouri. And there was quite a few older anglers. I mean, I was in my teens and early 20s back then, and there was older anglers, which they're old to me at the time. They were in their 40s and 50s. And none of those guys liked to fish during the daytime. It's like they wanted to fish at nighttime all the time because they didn't want to be out in the heat and they thought the fishing was better. So our club schedule was set up to where we fished at night a lot. So I didn't like fishing at night, but I got pretty good at it because, you know, all the guys that wanted to fish at night. So anyway, let me give you guys a few tips and advice on how to catch them at night. First of all, the best time of the year usually starts when that water temperature starts to get in the upper 50s, like in April, and it lasts all the way through the fall. So it's you pretty much, in order to have your better night fishing, you need to have that water temperature. I prefer to have it at least 60 degrees. That seems like the fish just bite better at night when you do that. Second thing with that is you got the lake that you're fishing, or the body of water that you're fishing. You have to sort of look at that body of water and try to determine what is the easy access for those fish to move shallow and back to deeper water real quick. Because in my opinion, from the night fishing I've done, here's my theory on night fishing bass. I think there's a lot of fish that during the daytime they live in deeper water, or they're suspended out over deeper water, and at night they move to the bank to feed. So given that, you know, I try to look for those type of areas that have a close access to deep water. So therefore you can't go wrong with fishing like points. Main lake or secondary points that are close to deep water are going to be really good areas. And also your steeper banks, like your bluff banks and your channel banks, are really good areas at night. So for the most part, what I'll do is I fish a lot of main lake points at night, and also I fish a lot of channel swing banks, not only on the main lake, but in the creeks as well. So steep banks and points is pretty much the only two places you have to focus on for the nighttime fish. And also at night, you know, you're wanting to get up there, you know, fairly shallow. So depending upon your water clarity, I'm usually fishing definitely less than 10 feet deep at nighttime. And another thing you'll find out about night fishing is it doesn't work very good if you have a lake that has some off-colored water. So I like to have at least 3 foot of visibility, preferably a little bit clear. Ideally, I like to have at least 4 foot of visibility, but you can get by with 3 feet and still catch fish in that scenario. Main thing about it is when you're fishing at night, you want to make sure that you cover that zone from right on the bank down to 10 feet, depending upon how clear the water is. Now, even at night, it's sort of like the same thing during the daytime. The more off-colored the water, the shallower their fish are going to be, even at night. And the cleaner the water, they could be a little bit deeper. So if I'm on a lake that has 3 foot of visibility, I'm trying to concentrate on that 2 to 5 foot zone up on the bank. And if the water visibility is a lot clearer, like the water visibility is 5, 6, 7, 8 foot, I'll focus down to 10 foot or so. And one of the things, before we get into techniques, the reason I know that these fish go back and forth from deep to shallow water at night is I can't tell you guys how many times that I've been fishing at Table Rock Lake in the summertime. And I'll be drop shotting or fishing for suspended fish, and I may be out over those timber tops. I may be in like 40 to 60 foot of water fishing the tops of timber in 20 to 30 foot vertically, like with a drop shot. And guys, I have caught dozens and dozens of bass that were suspended over open water that had fresh crawdad pinchers sticking out of their throats. They didn't get those crawdads suspended out over 40 foot of water. They were up on the bank rooting around on the rocks to get those. So I think those fish that I was catching suspended at 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning on a drop shot, you know, when it was dark, they were up on that point, you know, 50 yards away from me, you know, looking for crawdads on those rocks. So I think that's what's happened. So anyway, let's talk about lures. Best lures for, in my opinion, for night fishing are spinner baits and Texas rig worms. Now you can catch them on jigs, but for some reason I catch a lot more fish on a Texas rig worm. My favorite is like anywhere between an 8 to 10 inch Texas rig worm, fishing on like a 1/4 ounce sinker, usually some type of a June bug or red bug color. Really, really good as a plastic worm. A black spinner bait has always been a great producer. Take like a half ounce spinner bait, black spinner bait with like a number 6 or number 5 Colorado blade. That's probably the best nighttime lure that you can ever use, is just the old black spinner bait. Also a chatterbait, a black and blue chatterbait, fished in those same type of areas that you were getting them on the spinner bait can work. And then finally, one technique that a lot of people don't use is catching them on a deep crankbait at night. One of the best ways you can catch them during the summertime, and a lot of people don't talk about it, is just take a deep diving crankbait like a DD22 or whatever your favorite deep diving crankbait is, and fish those main lake points that I'm talking about with the deep diving crankbait. That's a really good way to catch them a lot of times. But if you gave me 2 baits, say, Randy, here's your 2 night fishing baits, I'd go with the Texas rig worm and the black spinner bait by far. A lot of people, you know, they pay a lot of attention to the moon. You know, a lot of people fish at night during a full moon because it's better visibility. I have noticed that can be a little bit better at times, but overall, you know, you can catch them if there's no moon or cloudy, clear, it doesn't really matter. And usually the best time that I have found for catching them at night is anywhere between like 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the morning. That seems like to be the most active period for them. But anyway, I think that is the reason, because there's more fish up on the bank that time of year in the middle of the night than any other time of the evening. So anyway, guys, just a few quick night fishing tips. I hope it helps out, and we'll talk later.